Welcome to the world united. Welcome to the world united.
Joyce Molenhar. For 33 years, Joyce's participation as a director in the Learning Center for Development is interwoven in all parts of her life. Joyce's education includes RN, BSN, Doctor of Naturopathy, and nurse coaching. She has experience in hospice, nurse coaching, teaching public health, occupational health, geriatrics, and home health. Joyce is the proud mother of three sons and grandmother to three grandsons and granddaughter. She resides in Arizona and has passion for desert environment and the big skies. Her enthusiasm about life is infectious. She is dedicated to improving the health and all she interacts with. And here with Joyce is going to talk on her presentation out of the box through resilience and insight. Over to Joyce Molenhar, please. Yep.
All right.
Yeah,
Hello,
please go ahead.
everyone. My name is Joy Mollenhauer. I'm a director of the Learning Center for Human Development, doctor of naturopathy, registered nurse, and more recently, nurse coach. I have the wonderful privilege of living in sunny Arizona, USA. The topic of my presentation today is out of the box through resilience and insight. And I have found it so interesting that every speaker has been weaving the whole theme of resilience through their different topics. And for sure, it's a huge part of spirituality. I totally embrace the truth that anyone that has got a strong spirituality base is a resilient human being. So I have definitely some information that I want to share. And a lot of it's based on the fact that 6 months ago, I was a hospice nurse. And I was finding my work very fulfilling and thought, well, I'll just keep on doing this for a long time. Well, that door closed, and it was obviously for an important reason, because before I knew it, I discovered I had an opportunity to become a nurse coach. And this is a new role in the world. It's only existed pretty much for 7 years. We coach people of all ages and every category you could imagine. So we're nurses, but we're coaching. And we're coaching them on becoming resilient, believe it or not. So I think it's just absolutely fascinating that resilience has been such a huge part of recognizing unity to bring people together and for people to be in a total understanding that to be resilient is a natural ability. So I'm going to share what I have prepared, but that's how I came to choose this topic. So it's definitely my delight to share some of my thoughts. And the concept of resilience has recently been changing my life. And I feel I definitely exemplified that resilience in leaving a position as hospice nurse that I thought was fulfilling and I loved, and moving to a whole new role of nurse coach, which has opened up the world for me. I see that I can be a nurse coach almost on my deathbed if I choose to. So I'm pretty excited because I'm finding I'm able to help people think through inner thoughts and thought in the moment and how that's affecting them and how they do have complete control once they get in touch with their inner self. So the concept of resilience, the theme of unity for the conference certainly has been powerful in what I've been observing. I have loved the fact that there's been some common ground on so many of the topics. And again, resilience, I've recognized, has just been spun all the way through it. So I have such a deep desire to recognize and help people get beyond the feeling that we are different, that the differences have to make a difference. The differences can make us more interested in our lives and broaden our own thoughts. So I embrace the oneness of mind. I embrace the feeling that is the core of our humanness, along with the connection that comes from the depth of our hearts. And I recognize from the speakers I've been listening to that there's many, many people that share an identical belief to mine. So the ideas I wish to share today are an expression from my heart. I will be commenting on the importance of learning to observe and develop awareness of your thoughts and how you, in fact, create your life through your thought. I plan to share information on resilience and insights. To start, let me ask the following questions. What does thinking outside the box mean to you? What boxes are you locked into? What would you change in your life if you believed that you could? Hold on to these thoughts and explore them with the goal of deciding what new direction you might move in. I personally am learning to recognize more often now when I limit myself to staying inside the box. One understanding I have gained about getting out of the box is to examine my usual ways of doing things and to determine any limitations that exist in that usual. As Grandmother Pearshaw reminds us so often, if we are comfortable, we are not growing, and we are, in fact, close to dying. So that's a pretty strong statement, but we do all want to evolve in our hearts. And it is too easy to get stuck in what we consider as usual and think that we're comfortable and stay there. So I'm finding in my new role that I'm helping people to recognize that they don't have to stay in the box, that there's a great freedom to be gained getting out of the box. My next step is creating different ways to achieve a different outcome and allow my imagination to create what that might look like. Then following up with focused intention and repetition, and those two things are very critical. It's great to have the intention, but if it's only momentary, it doesn't get me anywhere or anyone anywhere. So once I've got the clear intention and repeat that intention with a continuous focus, I am able to achieve my desired outcome. Here is an out-of-the-box brainstorming example, and some of you may have heard of this one. If you're in a group of people that have a project that they're involved with, and they're looking for ways to accomplish that project, taking paper and pen or pencil and making a drawing of your ideas, then sharing them. It is amazing the gifts that come forward. This is because our frontal lobe is doing what it knows how to do naturally, creating new ideas. And the frontal lobe fires up when you expose it to new thoughts that you are thinking and that you're listening to from other people. So this is a good brainstorming to do even if you're by yourself and you're facing something that you haven't got a solution for. But it is marvelous and has great results if you're in a group that wants to get some new solutions that are out of the box. So let me back up a little bit here. With thousands of thoughts passing through our brain every second, it's no easy task to grasp the thoughts we want. It is a great benefit to deliberately take time to observe and capture your thoughts. Thoughts move very rapidly through our minds, so it requires total concentration to be aware of individual thoughts. Closing your eyes and sitting in a quiet place is the best environment for this exercise. With frequent repetition of this exercise, your ability will grow in being aware of your thoughts. Another step towards gaining self-awareness can be allowing yourself to focus totally on a task that you're involved with. And you could take something as simple as washing the dishes. By focusing on what the water feels on your skin, what the soap feels like, what the bubbles look like, how the dishes are different from when they're dirty to they get clean. Looking out at the window if you're so fortunate to have a kitchen window and seeing all that there is to see outside that window. It is an amazing way to quiet all that cluttered thinking by being focused in the moment. Through resilience and insights, we gain pathways, and these are neural pathways in our brain leading us out of the box. And there are so many gifts of getting out of that box. Resilience is a concept I have recently been exploring, as I spoke of early there, in my personal as well as my professional life. I have delved deeply into the powerful place resilience can play in individual lives as well as my own. The definition of resilience I work with in my current professional role as a nurse coach is the following. Resilience is not being bound by circumstances and not being bound by the past. This is huge, as it leads a person who totally embraces this definition to examine past circumstances they are allowing their life to be totally owned by, with identifying when their focus is on thoughts in the present moment and monitoring and catching those thoughts when they step outside themselves. A brand new freedom is experienced. Movement through daily life becomes an experience of flowing with it rather than against and resisting it. And that is big. Picture a river that is flowing very smoothly, very naturally. And that's what your daily life can become when you are willing to open up to new experiences and changes in yourself. The amazing outcome is a quieter mind that allows you to have goal achievement and even an increased ability to help others. The good news is we move closer to becoming the best possible version possible of ourselves and living our true potential. Well, another definition you could say about resilience is it includes the ability to adapt. And adapt is the key word here. Resilience is a dynamic lifestyle that puts you in the driver's seat of your life journey. An example of personal resilience I wish to share with you is about a patient I grew very close to who had horrific advanced cancer. She had the insight to put pretty items in her bathroom where she was spending hours controlling the bleeding from cancer lesions. She also purchased a beautiful little fish and created an attractive fish bowl. She gained much joy in how that little fish interacted with her in an obvious dance that I witnessed when she drew near. In addition, she demonstrated incredible resilience in her ability to not dwell on her discomforts and always greeted everyone who she interacted with enthusiastically and a genuine welcome. She was truly an amazing example to all who were privileged to interact with her. In a nutshell, resilience is about adapting well to life. Let me repeat that statement. Resilience is about adapting well to life. And we have examples certainly from our recent months with the COVID virus of people who are adapting incredibly well and making great opportunity of growth and change and helping to make the world better by being resilient in a difficult time. So when you are resilient, you are no longer bound by your circumstances and you are no longer bound by your past. Resilience includes stepping forward and taking action to deal with your problems and meet the demands of daily living. It also includes stepping back to rest and re-energize yourself. An example, if you lose your job, short term, you might bounce back by finding another job. But why not strive to bounce forward by looking for opportunities to learn new skills to find an even better position with more growth potential? And we've all heard the expression, when one door closes, very often another door opens. Being open to new possibilities is definitely part of being resilient. I challenge you to shift your perspective from the familiar image of bouncing back to resilience as an empowering force for growing forward. And this certainly relates to what this whole conference is representing in the ideas that are being poured forward of what else we are going to do as a result of this powerful conference. While it's true that resilient people expect positive outcomes, They also understand that achieving those results will require effort on their part, sometimes tremendous effort. More importantly, they believe that regardless of the way things work out, they will rise above the challenge and will be okay. This is a powerful belief of a resilient person when they find themselves in a difficult situation. We are all born with some form and some measure of psychological resilience, as well as the ability to increase our resilience capacity over time. Any potential increase naturally depends on our commitment and our effort that we put forth. Whoops. Highly resilient people experience problems just like everyone else. They appear less affected because they choose not to be defined or bound by circumstances or the past. Resilient people are able to transcend the pitfalls of stress, uncertainty, and negativity because they believe in their ability to forge their own path through life's challenges, embracing the lessons and viewing hard times for what they are, temporary. There are many stories of people who have experienced positive change in their lives after recovering from a crisis. Their growth does not come from the adversity, but is the result of how they choose to respond to the experience. The following qualities are valuable in demonstrating personal psychological resilience. Adaptability, I've touched on that one already. Confidence, accountability, self-awareness, sense of purpose. The statement, you are not what happens to you, you are what you choose to become, is profound in describing resilience. So again, that is, you are not what happens to you, you are what you choose to become. I have experienced some powerful personal observations of resilience. I've had a lifelong relationship with the monarch butterfly, starting as a student and a 12-year-old in a classroom where our teacher had us bring caterpillars into our room and watch the whole process of them making a chrysalis and coming out of that chrysalis. So I speak of that because that's a prelude of why I'm going to share this next example of resilience. I was living in the country at a community setting, and one day we had a truckload of firewood dumped off the truck onto the ground. As we were piling the firewood, we were amazed to find a perfect monarch butterfly chrysalis totally unharmed, except for having been knocked off the piece of firewood which it had chosen in its stage of transformation to the chrysalis. How it managed to escape from being crushed was something of a miracle. A chrysalis requires a setting to be hanging free when the butterfly safely emerges. So on the ground, it would have no chance, as its wings would not be able to expand. A creative friend of mine succeeded in somehow securing the very short stem at the top of the chrysalis to a sticky substance on the jar lid. And much to our delight, the butterfly did emerge several days later and was able to fly. Insight is another topic I wish to touch on today. Developing insight in your life can make your life more meaningful. It can also help you better understand yourself as a person and others. My experience working with clients is the discovery of tendency for people to downplay their insights. They'll make a comment like, this is a no-brainer. This is so obvious. Why did I not see this truth long ago? The more powerful way, of course, to react to an insight is to celebrate, as your life is now enriched and expanded. An amazing additional result can be observed in the fact that there's an expansion that happens in other parts of your life. In closing, I invite all of you to think back over your lives at times you demonstrated resilience, when you went beyond circumstances or past events, and when you experience insights. It is valuable to recognize these examples and celebrate them. Resilience, similar to other qualities we demonstrate in life, needs to be nurtured I also encourage each of you to practice becoming aware of your thought in the moment as the most powerful tool you have. Being in present time brings many gifts. As I already mentioned, it is no easy task to become aware of your thoughts. When you work towards more of your life being in present time, you allow yourself to be free of your past, and the past no longer exists, and of your future that in most instances never happens the way you envision it. It has been a wonderful privilege to be part of this great event known as Third World Parliament on Spirituality. I give great appreciation.